The All England Club, the most hallowed ground in tennis, a place where legends are forged and dreams are either realized or shattered in the span of a single match. The pristine grass courts of Wimbledon have witnessed some of the most iconic moments in sporting history. From Bjorn Borg's dominance to Roger Federer's elegance, from Martina Navratilova's record-breaking runs to Serena Williams' absolute mastery of the surface. This is where champions are defined. This is where careers are made and broken. But in 2026, Wimbledon witnessed something it had never seen before. Something that left tournament organizers, tennis legends, and media outlets absolutely stunned. After Alexandra Eala's heartbreaking fourth-round exit at the hands of Jasmine Paolini, the tournament experienced a dramatic and unprecedented drop in attendance. The courts that were once overflowing with passionate Filipino fans waving flags and chanting her name were now eerily empty. The queues that stretched for miles had all but disappeared. The buzz, the energy, the excitement that Eala had brought to the All England Club had vanished with her departure. It was a shocking turn of events that no one could have predicted. Wimbledon officials were left scrambling to understand what had happened. They slashed ticket prices in a desperate attempt to attract fans, but even the discounts couldn't fill the stands. The empty courts have become the talk of the tennis world. Fans, analysts, and pundits are all asking the same question. What happened to Wimbledon? Stay with us as we break down the shocking aftermath of Alex Eala's exit and the empty courts that have left everyone talking. Subscribe our channel for more coverage and latest about tennis stars. Before we can understand the empty courts, we must first understand the phenomenon that was Alex Eala at Wimbledon 2026. The Filipina sensation had taken the tournament by storm, capturing the hearts of millions and drawing unprecedented crowds to the All England Club. Her journey was nothing short of remarkable. Entering the tournament as the 29th seed, Eala made history as the first Filipina to be seeded at a Grand Slam. But she was determined to do more than just make up the numbers. She wanted to make a statement, and she did exactly that. Her first-round match against Renata Zarazua of Mexico was a masterclass in controlled aggression. She dismantled her opponent in straight sets, showcasing her powerful serve, devastating forehand, and incredible movement. The second round brought an even bigger challenge, the legendary Serena Williams. The 7-time Wimbledon champion and 23-time Grand Slam winner was making her return to singles at the age of 44. The entire tennis world was watching, and Eala delivered. She beat Serena Williams in 3 sets in a match that will be remembered as one of the great Wimbledon upsets. But it was the third round that truly captured the world's attention. Eala faced Iga Swiatek, the defending champion and world number 3. Swiatek was the favorite. She had won Wimbledon the previous year and was playing with incredible confidence. But Eala had beaten Swiatek before at the 2025 Miami Open. She knew she could do it again. And she did. In a stunning performance, Eala defeated Swiatek in a match that was watched by millions around the world. By the time she stepped on center court for her fourth-round match against Jasmine Paolini, 1.2 million people had already watched highlights of her victory over Swiatek on Wimbledon's YouTube channel. More than twice as many as watched matches involving Novak Djokovic and Serena Williams. The Filipino fans had descended upon the All England Club in unprecedented numbers. They waved flags, chanted her name, and created an atmosphere that was electric, inspiring, and deeply emotional. Around 8,000 fans in Manila alone had gathered to watch her match against Paolini at a public watch party. She had become a national icon, a ray of hope for the Philippines, as one fan described her. The Eala effect was real. She had transformed Wimbledon from a prestigious tennis tournament into a cultural phenomenon. The All England Club had never seen anything like it, and they were about to learn a harsh lesson about what happens when that phenomenon suddenly disappears.
After Alexandra Eala's heartbreaking loss to Jasmine Paolini, the atmosphere at Wimbledon changed dramatically. The courts that had been overflowing with passionate fans were now eerily quiet. The queues that had stretched for miles had all but disappeared. The stands that had been filled with waving Filipino flags were now largely empty. It was a shocking turn of events that left tournament organizers scrambling to understand what had happened. The drop in attendance was immediate and dramatic. The matches that followed Eala's exit simply couldn't draw the same level of interest. The casual fans, the ones who had been drawn to Wimbledon by the Eala phenomenon, had lost interest. The die-hard tennis fans were still there, but they were vastly outnumbered by the empty seats. The atmosphere had changed. The excitement had dissipated. The buzz was gone. Wimbledon officials were caught completely off guard. They had underestimated the power of the Eala effect. They had not anticipated that a single player could have such a massive impact on attendance. They had assumed that the prestige of Wimbledon would be enough to fill the stands, regardless of who was playing. They were wrong. The empty courts were a stark reminder that tennis is not just about the sport, it's about the stars, it's about the personalities, the stories, and the connections that fans make with their heroes. Eala had forged a powerful connection with millions of fans around the world. When she left the tournament, they left with her. The stands that had been filled with 8,000 fans in Manila watching her match were now empty. The 1.2 million viewers who had watched her highlights were gone. The Eala effect had proven to be both a blessing and a curse. It had brought unprecedented attention in crowds to Wimbledon, but it had also shown how fragile that attention could be. The empty courts had become the talk of the tennis world. Fans, analysts, and pundits are all asking the same question: what happened to Wimbledon?
As the empty courts became an increasingly embarrassing sight for the All England club, tournament officials made a desperate move. They slashed ticket prices in a bid to attract fans back to the tournament. The discounts were significant. Early round tickets that had been selling for thousands of pounds were now available at a fraction of the cost. The official Wimbledon ticket prices for the later stages of the tournament, which had been set at premium rates, were cut dramatically. Center court seats, which had been priced at up to £350 for the finals, were now available at discounted rates. The on-site resale of return tickets, which typically cost £15 for center courts and £10 for number 1 and number 2 courts, became a more common sight. The tournament was essentially giving away seats to try to fill the stands. But even the discounts couldn't bring the fans back. The damage had been done. The momentum had been lost. The excitement had dissipated. The casual fans, the ones who had been drawn to Wimbledon by the Eala phenomenon, were not interested in watching other matches. They had come to see Eala. They had come to be part of something special, and when that something special ended, they simply moved on. Wimbledon officials were left scratching their heads. They had tried everything. They had cut prices, they had increased marketing, they had done everything they could think of, but nothing worked. The empty courts remained empty. The silence remained deafening. The ticket price slash was a desperate attempt to fill the stands, and it had failed. The empty courts had become a symbol of the tournament's inability to capture the magic that Eala had brought. The All England club had been dealt a harsh lesson about the power of star power and the fragility of fan interest. The empty courts at Wimbledon have sparked a massive debate among fans, analysts, and pundits. Everyone has a theory about why the attendance dropped so dramatically after Eala's exit. But perhaps the most important voices are those of the fans themselves. In interviews and on social media, fans have been speaking out about why they stopped coming to Wimbledon. Many cited the simple fact that they had come specifically to see Eala. She was the reason they had bought tickets, traveled to London, and endured the long queues. When she lost, they simply lost interest. Others pointed to the changing nature of Wimbledon. Some have expressed concerns that the tournament is becoming more of a tourist event than a tennis championships, overrun with influencers and people more interested in fashion and photos than watching the games. This shift has alienated some traditional fans. Still others cited the overall quality of the matches. Without Eala, the tournament lacked the star power and drama that had made it so compelling. The matches that followed simply couldn't match the excitement of her run. The weather was also a factor. The notoriously unpredictable British weather had been a problem throughout the tournament, with rain delays and cancellations disrupting play. This had already caused some fans to stay away. Some fans also pointed to the lack of big personalities in the later rounds, with the titans of the game over recent decades such as Roger Federer, Rafa Nadal, and Serena Williams having handed over the baton to the next generation. Some fans felt that the sport had lost some of its appeal. But the most common reason given was the simplest. They had come to see Eala, and when she left, they left too.
The empty courts are not just a reflection of poor attendance, they are a testament to the power of one player to captivate an audience. The Eala effect was real, and its absence was painfully felt.
The empty courts after Alex Eala's exit have not just been an embarrassment for Wimbledon, they have been a financial disaster. The tournament relies on ticket sales, hospitality packages, and broadcast revenue to generate its income. The dramatic drop in attendance has resulted in a significant financial loss. The exact figures are not yet known, but industry analysts estimate that the tournament could have lost millions of pounds in revenue. The ticket price slash, while necessary to attract fans, only added to the financial pain. The tournament was essentially giving away seats that it would normally sell for thousands of pounds. The loss of hospitality revenue was also significant. The premium packages that are normally sold out were left empty. The broadcast revenue was also impacted. With fewer fans in the stands, the atmosphere on TV was flat. This could have a long-term impact on the tournament's ability to attract lucrative broadcast deals. But the financial fallout is just one part of the story. The empty courts have raised serious questions about the future of Wimbledon, and indeed, the future of tennis as a whole. The tournament has long prided itself on its prestige and tradition, but the Eala phenomenon has shown that prestige alone is not enough to fill the stands. The sport needs stars. It needs personalities. It needs players who can connect with fans on an emotional level. The sport is at a crossroads. The old guard, represented by players like Federer, Nadal, and Serena Williams, is retiring. The new generation, while talented, has not yet captured the imagination of the public in the same way. There are, however, some positive signs. Wimbledon's director of marketing, Usama Al-Qassab, said that the approach to engaging younger audiences was working, with attendees generally inching about a year on year over the past decade, now averaging at mid-40s for those who obtained tickets in the ballot and 35 in the queue. The first week of the 2026 tournament also reached nearly 300,000 visitors, making it busier for attendance than the first week in 2025, which turned out to be a record year. But the dramatic drop-off after Eala's exit has shown that the sport's popularity is fragile. It is dependent on a small number of players who capture the public's imagination. For Wimbledon, the empty courts are a wake-up call. The tournament needs to do more to cultivate new stars and engage new audiences. It needs to find the next Alex Eala. The sport needs more players who can inspire a nation and fill the stands. For Tennis Pulse, the empty courts are a symbol of the challenges facing the sport. The future is uncertain, but one thing is clear: the Eala effect has changed the game forever. Subscribe our channel for more coverage and latest about tennis stars.